Chapter 36. It was a lovely, perfect evening as I kicked the row of soccer balls into the net one by one. I really was starting to like Arizona. The constant sunshine, the smell of orange blossoms in the air, the soft green grass I walked on barefoot whenever I could, and the beautiful sunsets. I gazed up at the evening sky after I kicked the last ball into the net. It looked like it had been painted with watercolors of pink, orange, and purple. I sighed. Nice work, Green, Coach Fuller called. I ran over to Jessica, and we worked on moving the ball back and forth between us as the other girls took their turns at the net. We're going to have a team kickoff party at my house this weekend, Jessica said breathlessly as we worked. Want to come? Yeah, I said. Should I bring anything? Jessica paused with her foot on the ball. How about some soda? Okay. And do you think you might come to the festival? Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure most of the team is planning on it. Good job today, girls, Coach Fuller said. I checked the watch around my ankle. Wow, that flew by. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Jessica looked past me and didn't answer. I turned around when I heard a bark and spotted Connor standing at the edge of the field. Is he your friend? She asked. Connor raised his hand in a wave and I smiled. Yeah, I said, he's my best friend. She kicked the ball to me as she grinned and raised her eyebrows. He's cute, she said, and ran off to join the other girls headed to the locker room. I let out a breathy laugh and walked over to Connor. I stopped about 3 feet from him. Hi. Hi. He looked down at his feet, then back up at me. You made the soccer team. Yeah, I did. And you made a new friend. He gestured toward Jessica, still walking back to the locker room with everybody else. I glanced at her, then turned my attention back to Connor. Yeah, I studied the painful look on his face. But I miss my old friend. Connor smiled and shrugged his shoulders. Where have you been? I asked. Just home. I decided I was never coming back to school. What made you change your mind? You, he said, and my mom. She told me to get my butt out of bed yesterday. I thought she was going to drive me to school, but instead she called into work and we spent the day together. You did? Connor nodded. Yeah, we even went out for dinner. Seriously? At a real restaurant? Yeah. Well, sort of. We got takeout and ate it in the park. But still, I said, it's a good start. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Guess what? What? Josephine, the lady who works in the steakhouse? She's my grandmother. His mouth hung open. What? I nodded. Yeah, she's Joe Kavanaugh. She's the one who hired my parents. Why? She said she wanted to meet me and make sure I was okay. So who was the girl in the picture? My birth mother. What happened to her? She died. I sighed. I said, surprised to feel the knot in my throat. Surprised at how much I wished I could have known her. I'm sorry, Avon. Josephine gave me up because she didn't think she could care for me. I guess she thought she was doing the best thing for me. I'm sure that's what she thought at the time, Connor said, but obviously she regretted it. She regretted it to have brought you out here. Well, if she thinks she can just have a relationship with me after all this time, she's mistaken. I dug my cleat into the ground. Of course, Connor agreed. She must be a terrible person. Well, I don't. Connor grinned at me and narrowed my eyes at him. And I narrowed my eyes at him. I see what you're trying to do here. I don't think I'm ready to forgive her for abandoning me. She didn't exactly leave you in a cave in the desert. How old is she? 83. So she was 70 when you were born. I bet she was thinking, holy cow pie, I'm going to be near 90 by the time this here baby graduates high school. She'll have to push me in my wheelchair to the ceremony. That's going to be hard to do with her feet. Your Texas accent is awful. You get my point? he said. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I smiled at the ground, kicking at the dirt with my cleat. Everything is really coming together for the festival. I think it's going to be a big success. Anything you do would be a big success, Avon. My cheeks flushed at the compliment. I'm just sorry you're not going to be there. I looked up at him. It won't be the same without you. I'll think about it, okay, he said. That's the best I could do. I guess I'll have to accept it then. We stood there quietly for a minute. My mom's going with me to the next meeting, Connor said. That's so great. Do you want to come with us? He frowned. I'm sure Dexter would love for you to be there. I'd love to be there for you, not for Dexter. Are you sure? Because I know he's so funny and all that. I'm sure, I said, and he's really not that funny. Connor smiled. I was also thinking maybe you could teach me a little bit on the guitar. See how it goes. I'd love to. My mom and I watched this video online about people with Tourette's and how music can be almost like a therapy for them. It can even make them stop ticking while they're doing it. When I told her about you and the guitar, she thought it would be a great idea for us to work together on it. She really likes you. That's amazing, I said. I mean, about the music, but also your mom. She's getting involved. Yeah, because I'm letting her. You were right. It's because I'm so smart. I tossed my hair back over my shoulders. Yes, you are, Connor said, even smart enough to be an astronaut. Chapter 37. The morning of the festival, I woke up before it was light out. I had so much to do, and I couldn't wait to get started. The first thing I did was sit down at my computer and write a blog post. Come to Stagecoach Pass today for our festival. We'll have good food and art and fireworks. It will be the most fun you've had since the last super fun time you had. I was frustrated for the first time in a long time at how long it took me to get my jeans on. In my excitement, I kept missing the button with my hook, but I eventually got it and rushed out of the apartment and downstairs. Mom and Dad were already up and out in the park, making sure everything was in order. When Mom saw me, she said, "Get back upstairs and eat some breakfast." I did, I said. Liar, she said back. I made my way to the petting zoo to visit Spaghetti. I petted him with my foot and whispered to him, "It's gonna be a busy day." He lifted his head and looked at me lazily, then laid it back down like he was saying, "Maybe for you." I worked around Stagecoach Pass all morning, trying to be useful, running errands for anyone and everyone, delivering messages, and making phone calls. By 9 o'clock, I was lightheaded with hunger, so I sat down with Josephine in the kitchen of the steakhouse and ate a bowl of beans. "Today's your big day," she said. I scooped a spoonful of beans carefully into my mouth, holding the spoon with my toes. "I forgot to ask you about something," I said. "What's that?" "I found an old necklace up on the hill. It's silver with a turquoise stone in it." "Was that still up there?" We released Avon's ashes at the top of that hill. That was her favorite necklace, so I hung it on a little wooden cross. I figured it would be long gone by now, probably washed away in a monsoon. "Could I see that necklace sometime?" "Sure." I put down my spoon and pushed the bowl away from me. "I'd better get going." I left the kitchen, hoping the awkward feeling I got around Josephine would go away in time. I walked outside and was disappointed to find people weren't already pouring in at the entrance, and more disappointed that Connor wasn't out there. Around 10 o'clock, a few people trickled in. As the morning wore on, the trickle became a steady flow. The Flat Jackaroos started playing on the newly cleaned stage around noon. I had no idea what to expect of breakfast entertainers, but they weren't bad. And except for a song about bacon or eggs Benedict thrown in here and there, they mostly played normal country music. By late afternoon, the parking lot was fuller than it had ever been. I wandered around, enjoying the festivities, and talked to the vendors about their art. I found Zion, and we ate an obscene amount of junk food together in the rodeo arena. He was normally so strict about what he ate, so I was glad to see him relax a bit about that. We watched the large group of kids in the petting zoo. Some of them even gave Spaghetti a little attention, though he didn't seem to care much. I introduced Zion to Josephine and Henry, shot a rubber snake at the shooting range, and even stuck my face through a wooden painting of a cactus so Zion could take a picture. And everywhere we went, I looked for Connor. At 6 o'clock, I left Zion and made my way into the apartment to get changed for the evening events. Mom and I had gone shopping together the day before to pick out a new dress for the festival, and she had laid it out on my bed for me, perhaps worried I might pick something else to wear at the last minute. With a thumping heart, I carefully slipped the dress over my head and shimmied it down, tugging at the bottom with my toes. It took me a few minutes to get it all straightened and smoothed out. I stood up and looked at myself in the mirror over my dresser. Mom walked up from behind and put her arms around me. "I like this look on you," she said, "but it's missing something." She pulled a necklace out of her pocket and placed it around my neck. It was the turquoise necklace. I could see she had it cleaned and had replaced the chain. "It looks beautiful with your pink dress." "Thanks, Mom. That was sweet of you to do this for me. You know, this was Avon's favorite necklace." "Was it? Well, then it's extra special, isn't it?" She squeezed my shoulder. I gazed at myself in the mirror, wondering if I was really going to go out in front of other people looking like this. "You know," Mom said, "I heard there are a lot of people out there who came today because of your blog." I looked up at her. "My blog?" "Yep, they said they love it." "I don't know why. I don't have anything very interesting to say." Mom cupped my cheeks in her hands. "You, Avon Green, are the most interesting person I know." She kissed me on the nose. As I walked toward the door, she said, "Would you like a sweater, Avon? It might get a little chilly tonight." I shook my head. My shoulders have been covered long enough. They need to breathe. She walked to me, slipped a finger under one of my spaghetti straps, and snapped it. "Yes, they do." The sky looked like cotton candy as I made my way downstairs. I loved all the sounds and smells of the festival, corn dogs and kettle corn and chili and funnel cakes. Walking over to the flapjackaroos, I ran into Jessica and a large group of girls from soccer. "You guys came," I said, smiling hugely. "This is great, Avon," Jessica said, "and you look amazing." "Thanks." I blushed at the compliment. "You should come watch the music." As they walked behind me, I spotted Zion sitting at a table by himself, munching on a box of popcorn. I walked with the girls over him and introduced them. He mumbled a hello to the girls as he stared at his feet and tried to hide his popcorn behind his back. I made my way to the stage and stood at the bottom of the steps. When the lead singer of the Flapjackaroos saw me, he told the audience they had a special accompaniment, and I walked up the stairs to join them. He placed my guitar in front of a chair on the stage for me, and I sat down. But it wasn't my guitar. It was the guitar we had found in the storage room hidden under the old desk. It was the guitar that belonged to my mother. It had been cleaned, repaired, and restrung. I looked out into the audience and saw my parents watching me. Mom put her fingers to her mouth and blew me a kiss. I slipped my feet out of my flowery flats and carefully plucked at a string with one not quite steady toe. We played tumbling tumbleweeds, which I had been feverishly practicing all week, even though my part was quite simple. A large audience formed to watch as we played, and I saw that all their eyes were on me. Me in my strappy pink dress. Me in my mother's necklace playing my mother's guitar. Me with terribly flushed cheeks, beaming as the lead singer winked at me while we played. I looked out into the crowd and saw Jessica and the other girls watching me with excited faces. I saw Zion smiling and waving, and I nodded back. I saw my parents, arms around each other, swaying to the music. I saw Josephine watching me from the very back of the crowd. She had a painful look on her face. and I wondered if she was thinking about her daughter. I tried to imagine how hard it would be for a woman who had been in her position, having just lost her only daughter, already getting on in years, as she had put it. I thought about what Connor had said. She probably truly believed that she was doing the best thing for me. So I decided maybe I would visit her at the Golden Sunset retirement home when she left. Maybe we could share a meal of mediocre cafeteria food. Maybe swim in a pool full of old people. I smiled at her, and the painful look on her face seemed to dissolve. And then, right in the center of the crowd, slowly making his way to the front, I saw Connor. He wasn't ticking, even though he was completely surrounded by people. He looked totally at peace while I played. When the song ended and the audience clapped for us, I stood and took a bow. The lead singer pointed at me and clapped, causing the audience to clap louder, and so I bowed again. I ran off the stage and straight into Connor at the bottom of the stairs. I felt exuberant and full of energy I couldn't contain. "Come on," I said to him. "The fireworks are starting soon." We ran away from the stage and found Zion toward the back of the crowd. He joined us as we ran past the gold mine overseen by a new man named Romaro who did not hate children, where lots of little kids were aggressively focused on finding real stagecoach past gold. We took the trail out to the desert, and the three of us made our way up my mighty hill, lit at this point only by the light of the full shining moon. We were almost at the top when I saw something out of the corner of my eye. I stopped and stared at the ground just in time to see what looked like a monstrous spider scurry into a hole. Connor turned around. "What?" My heart beat rapidly. From the performance, from running up the hill, from whatever it was I might have just seen. "I thought I saw something." "Tell us about it later," Connor said. "We need to hurry." When we got to the top of the hill, I sat down beside my sororo, and Connor sat beside me, and Zion sat beside him. "I knew you'd come," I said to Connor. He laughed. "I didn't even know I would until about an hour ago." He looked at me in the moonlight, blinking his eyes. "But I'm really glad I did." He let out a bark. "Me too," Zion and I both said at the same time. Connor looked down at the city lights. "You spend a lot of time up here, don't you?" Yeah, I do. I come up here when I need to think or be left alone. Up here I could see things clearly." "What do you see?" Connor asked. I looked down at Stagecoach Pass, then back at Connor and Zion. "I see two of the best friends I've ever had." Zion smiled, his white teeth gleaming in the moonlight. "So I'm glad we came here," I said, "and I'm glad for everything that's happened. Because if it hadn't, I wouldn't know either of you, and I'm glad I know you." Connor's hazel eyes flashed from the very first firework. "I'm glad I know you too, Avon." "Me too," Zion said. As the fireworks exploded over the lights of the city, millions of lights for millions of people, I didn't feel so insignificant anymore. I felt as big as the giant sororo beside me. I felt like I was shining, and this time I thought maybe it wasn't just the moon. Maybe the light was in me.